Okay, so how about we solve some chemostat problems, but instead of using the Monod equation, let's use the Contois equation, which is another kind of equation that can be used to relate UG to UM. And for this one, I will be considering all cases. So it's like, I'll consider a case where we have no biomass flowing in, but I will consider it where it is flowing in, and when it's not. And then I'll also be dealing with when there is no maintenance coefficient, and I'll be dealing when there is maintenance coefficient. So I'm going to be doing all cases quickly. I'll be using some of the results from the old chemostat questions I did previously, which were these cases, but with the Monod equation. But now we can just modify it slightly to use the Contois equation, and only like the mass balances and such stay the same. I believe most noticeably is that the X concentration stays the same as well. It's actually just the S concentration that changes with this different growth equation. S depends on the growth equation that you use, like whether it's Monod, Contois, or Tessier. And yeah, X, it doesn't change at all because the balance is the way it works out nicely. Let's do the first case. So CSTR, constant volume V, flow in and out, the F's are equal to each other. Let's say X naught equals 0 here, and we have S naught being fed. And then the outlet, we'll just have X and S. Okay, so let's start this up. And the thing is, we know it's very easy. It works out nicely. For KD is 0, unit equals UG. Okay. And also we showed that for X naught equals 0, D equals these two above, it equals unit equals UG. It's really simple. So then the Contois equation is this. It's the gross growth rate, maximum growth rate over S. So this is KSX. Those are subscripts, so don't get confused with that. But now we actually have X on the bottom here, so X will be mixed in with this equation. And all you have to do is it's the same thing with the Monod equation with simple cases, is that you can just replace that with D because it's equivalent, as long as like this is true. And you can prove that with a mass balance. And you just get it in terms of S. So how do we solve this? Well, just move it to the other side. That'll be minus D. Okay. And yeah, we just divide, so then we'll have a nice equation in terms of, well, I mean, it's not the best. It's in terms of X. Usually you don't want S and X in terms of each other, but the equation is just too like long and annoying to deal with it. Well, in this case, for the simplest case, yeah, you can actually solve for S and remove the X by plugging X back into what it is. And the thing is, you can prove for the mass balance, the stoichiometry for the X is just the same thing. It just ends up being this, because it's just a very simple equation. It's just how much of the substrate you use up, so the difference between it, multiplied by the yield coefficient, which is like a stoichiometric coefficient in this case for this biological reaction. And that's what it is. And that's all it is. So in this case, yeah, we can actually like simplify S by plugging that back in. You only get one like S here, and then you can just bring it to the other side after. So let's do that. So I'm just taking that S to the other side. And then you just divide it by that. And then yeah, you can put the variables in any order you want. Shouldn't matter too much. And there you go. So this is actually the ideal equation that you want. You want it in terms s, not in terms of x. S in terms of only constants. D is kind of like, I guess D is what you could change. It's f over v, and that's kind of like your independent variable here. But otherwise, everything else is just constant that depends on the reaction or your operating condition. So it's just not too bad.